Once truth was sacred. It was something to be sought, not invented. It stood above us, like a star in the night sky, unmoved, shining the same light for every soul who dared to look up. But today that star has dimmed. Now truth bends and shifts depending on who you ask. It no longer lives in reality, but in perception. It no longer guides us, it flatters us, and that, more than anything, explains why the modern world feels lost. The death of truth didn't happen overnight. It died quietly over time beneath 1,000 comforting lies. Lies that told us we could have our own version of reality, that your truth and my truth could coexist even if they contradicted each other, that feelings matter more than facts and popularity more than principle. We traded wisdom for validation and didn't even notice what we lost. The philosopher Nietzsche once said, "There are no facts, only interpretations." He meant it as a warning, but the world took it as permission. We built an empire of subjectivity, a world where everyone is their own god. And now no one agrees on what's real anymore. Every screen screams with certainty. Every influencer claims to know the truth. Every comment section burns with moral outrage. But if you look closer, there's nothing beneath the noise, just emotion pretending to be conviction. We don't pursue truth anymore. We perform it. We don't seek what's right, we signal it. We wear our opinions like fashion, and when the trend changes, so do we. The algorithm rewards outrage, not understanding. It feeds you what confirms your beliefs, not what challenges them. It doesn't care about truth, it cares about engagement. And the more divided you are, the more you scroll. So we sink deeper into our echo chambers, convinced we're enlightened, when really we're just entertained. Once people used to debate ideas, now they attack identities. Once disagreement was a sign of thought, now it's treated like violence. We've made it impossible to speak honestly because truth itself has become offensive. To say this is right or this is wrong is now considered arrogant, even hateful. But moral relativism doesn't create tolerance, it creates emptiness. If nothing is true, then nothing matters. If all beliefs are equal, then none of them are sacred. And yet, deep down, you know that's not true. You know there's a difference between love and hate, between justice and cruelty, between truth and deception. The heart knows what the intellect tries to deny. Because truth isn't just an idea, it's something we're built to recognize. Even a child knows when they're being lied to. That's not education, that's instinct, because truth is written into our very being. But modern life teaches you to doubt that instinct. It tells you that everything is relative, that morality is just a social construct, that meaning is self-made. It sounds empowering until you realize it's just another form of despair. Because if everything is relative, then nothing is real. And if nothing is real, then nothing is worth living for. Look at the world around you. We're drowning in information but starving for wisdom. We know everything and understand nothing. We argue endlessly, but no one changes their mind. Because we've forgotten that truth isn't something you invent, it's something you submit to. The greatest minds in history, from Socrates to Aquinas, all agreed on this. Truth is not a possession, it's a relationship. To know the truth is to conform your mind to reality. But today, we try to conform reality to our minds. We redefine words, rewrite history, and even reshape biology to fit our preferences. We've built a civilization of mirrors, and we mistake our reflection for the truth. And the deeper tragedy is this: when you lose truth, you lose meaning. You can't build love, justice, or freedom without truth, because love without truth becomes sentimentality. Justice without truth becomes revenge. Freedom without truth becomes chaos. The death of truth is not just a cultural problem, it's a spiritual one. When you remove truth, you remove God. And when you remove God, you remove the anchor of human dignity. Without an objective truth, morality becomes whatever the powerful decide. History has already shown us where that leads. So how do we return to truth? You start by admitting that truth exists, even if it's uncomfortable. Truth doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't change because of votes or trends or hashtags. It simply is. It humbles you, it confronts you, it hurts you before it heals you. And that's why people fear it. Truth demands responsibility. It demands that you live differently once you know it. That's why it's easier to hide behind opinions. They require nothing of you, but truth asks for your soul. The first step to rediscover truth is silence, not the silence of ignorance, but the silence of humility. To stop shouting long enough to hear reality whisper. Truth isn't found in chaos, it's found in contemplation. It's the quiet voice inside you that says, "This isn't right." It's the pull of conscience when you try to justify what you know is wrong. It's the peace that comes when your life aligns with what is real. We must also learn to separate truth from emotion. Your feelings are real, but they're not reliable. They can reveal truth, but they can also distort it. If you let feelings decide truth, you'll spend your life chasing validation instead of wisdom. Truth doesn't bend for comfort. That's why it's called truth. It stays the same when everything else changes. But that's also why it's beautiful, because it gives you something solid to stand on. In a world that constantly shifts, truth is the rock beneath your feet. And here's something profound. Truth and love are not opposites. They are the same light seen from different angles. To love someone is to will their good, and you can't do that without truth. A love without truth isn't compassion, it's indulgence. A truth without love isn't justice, it's cruelty. The two must live together or both die. Maybe you feel exhausted by the noise, by the endless debates, the outrage, the performative morality. Good, that means your soul is waking up, because deep down you know that clarity is possible, that truth exists, that it's not hiding, it's waiting to be recognized. You won't find it in headlines or hashtags, you'll find it in honesty, in the courage to look at yourself and say, "I've been wrong." That's where truth begins, not in certainty, but in humility. And when you find it, it changes everything. You stop arguing for attention and start living with conviction. You stop chasing trends and start seeking wisdom. You stop trying to be right and start trying to be real. Truth doesn't make life easier. It makes it meaningful. And meaning is what every human heart is starving for. Truth isn't dead. It's just buried beneath noise. And if you dig, slowly, patiently, bravely, you'll find it again. You'll find it in silence, in beauty, in love, in God Himself, because the ultimate truth isn't an idea, it's a person. The death of truth isn't the end of truth, it's the end of illusion, and from those ruins something greater can rise, a generation that no longer confuses feelings with facts, identity with virtue, attention with wisdom. The world doesn't need more opinions, it needs people brave enough to tell the truth, even when it costs them, especially when it costs them. Because when truth returns, meaning returns. And when meaning returns, wonder, love, and hope follow.